I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not.
It gets the people going. It's showtime, folks. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. This is probably sleeper. This is a sleeper. I'd seen a couple of trailers coming up to this movie, and I was pretty psyched, you know, especially because I'm somebody that's hung around a lot of like power lifters and bodybuilders and stuff like that. Every time I see a movie that's gonna involve some aspect of bodybuilding in it, I get pretty pumped. And Love Lies Bleeding, I'm gonna tell you something. It was definitely interesting. It was definitely up there. So Love Lies Bleeding revolves around two main characters, and they go by Jackie and Lou. Now, they are a couple that basically go on a revenge quest. Jackie is the bodybuilding character, and she is on her way to Las Vegas for a bodybuilding show when she runs across Kristen Stewart's character, Lou, who just happens to work at a gym, who's had a falling out with her father, played by Ed Harris, who is not a great guy. Now, they don't really dive into the details of what he does, and I don't want to get into too much of what goes on in this film, but a series of unfortunate events unfold in this film that lead Jackie and Lou to be into a very dangerous position when it comes to the relationship between them and Ed Harris. And that's where the plot of Love Lies Bleeding really takes off. Now, starting off with the pros, I think this film is really, really well acted. I think everybody does their part. Ed Harris, you know, he's an actor that I don't really see a lot of people talk about much as far as great actors go. He's definitely a great supporting actor in everything I've seen him in. Excellent. Kristen Stewart does an amazing job as well. You know, a lot of people give her slack because of Twilight, and I'm one of them. You know, every time I see Twilight, I'm going to roast on it a little bit. But in this film, she does an exceptional job. And it's just all the supporting characters all around do an excellent job. Another pro I have in this movie is it finally feels original. It feels like a breath of fresh air as far as the plot goes. You know, you don't have a lot of stories about a bodybuilder trying to get to Vegas and then gets involved in a revenge. Like, you know, it's, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, it reminds me very, very small link to, it reminds me a lot of Pain and Gain, which is another film about male bodybuilders in this case. And ironically, Ed Harris is the guy trying to take them down in that film as well. So it's pretty funny, but it's really an original story that I really like about this couple that's really just in a really bad position and has to go about doing things. Another pro I have, and I'll just, you know, take my foot off the gas of the pros, I guess, is that there's a couple of training montages in there that make you want to run through a wall. I was watching this film with my team, you know, and we sat there and watched it. And as soon as a training montage started with the character of Jackie, I was pumped. I turned around and looked at him. I was like, guys, this is it right here. This is it. You know, I got to give it to this film. I was pretty pumped all the way through. It was a thrilling ride. It was well scripted, well acted, and the pacing was really good. I never felt like it was really dragging. I never felt like it was something that I could predict that was gonna happen, except for like clearly obvious things, you know? And it was just really a thrill ride. Now, I do have to emphasize the cons. As much as I really enjoyed watching this movie, there's two big cons that I think bring it down a notch as far as enjoyment for others. Now, starting off with con number one, and that this movie is really rated R. And the reason it's really rated R is because of its adult themes and nudity. Now, I will say there's really only 3 scenes that could be labeled adult themed, if you know what I'm talking about, just as far as the scenes go. But they are really, really intense as far as that goes. You know, the relationship is really intense. It's really fiery. If you watch the trailer, they really do get into that. It's going to be one of those things. And those 3 scenes are, I do have to say, I mean, I'm no prude or anything. Like, I'm no prude. But those 3 scenes are pretty intense. They're pretty graphic. And they're a little bit, they'd be a little bit of, they're explicit. You know, it's just not going to be for everybody. And 2 is, and this just, it's one of those things for me. It's just a personal thing of mine. And it's a love-hate relationship I have with A24, who put out this film. Look, A24 has given us great films, one of which, like The Iron Claw, that I loved, and hopefully we'll review later on down the road for this channel. But this film is gritty, it's thrilling, it's grounded in realism, and I really enjoyed that of this film. But why is this in the cons list? It's because A24, for some reason, does its A24 thing every once in a while, and it just throws this weird graphic or weird animation or something into an otherwise grounded movie that's, you know, just deep in realism, and just throws these wacky little animations in there randomly. And this is a nitpick because it's a blink and you kind of miss it deal, except for one key part of the movie. And I know what some people might say, and it's true. Both of these instances of where A24 does this little wacky thing, it could have been a creative decision by somebody that wasn't A24, but it is characteristic of the, you know, of them to do it. Now, people will argue it's symbolic, and I understood the symbolism there. There's a kind of embedded symbolism as to why these things happen. However, when you have a grounded thriller like this, that's hyper realistic, that has something going on at all, you don't know the twists and turns, and you're enjoying the film, that is a little bit distracting. And it's got to be one of the things I disliked about the film that almost knocked it down to a different score that I just changed right now because I'm starting to remember how much I enjoyed this movie. Now, getting to my rating. I was going to rate it low because of the graphics, because of the explicit adult themed portions of the movie. I didn't want to recommend it to everybody, but if you can get past the intense love relationship as far as the scenes go, the way they portray them, if you could get past, you know, the explicit nature of those 3 scenes, and if you can get past A24's little wacky graphics twice in this film, I think, maybe 3 times, this film is actually really enjoyable in my point of view. This is a thrill ride. I was excited about the entire film leading up to it. For all my bodybuilding fans and powerlifters and stuff like that, Jackie she's absolutely yoked in this film. She does an exceptional job as an actress. You're kind of pulling for both her and Lou to get out of the situation you're in. You also like Ed Harris as a villain. He's a phenomenal villain. So what is the rating, John? You're rambling. You enjoyed it. We get it. It's everything that's thrilling. We get it. It's grounded. We get it. It's a little sexy in there. But what is the rating? And guys, I was shocked. I thought I was going to enjoy this, but I really enjoyed this. This film, despite the flaws it has, and like I said, definitely not for kids. This is one of those movies that if your significant other walks in on you watching a certain part of the movie, you'd have to be like, I can explain. You know, definitely one of those situations. However, Love Lies Bleeding is a 4 out of 5. Are you not entertained? And I have to give it a 4 out of 5 because, guys, it is an absolute thrill ride. Yeah, little adult, a little suspect, you know, definitely not one of the movies you want to go watch with your parents, you know what I'm saying? But it's pretty dope. All right. But what did you guys think? Did you watch Love Lies Bleeding? Did you happen to catch it before it got, you know, taken out of theaters really quickly? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Leave your comments. Or leave a recommendation on a film I should review in the future. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video or subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification button. It really helps my team grow and the channel grow. And guys, you know, it's great. I appreciate you guys being here. I know you guys have a lot of different entertainment you could be watching, yet you choose to be here. So I appreciate you guys. Do you guys agree with what something my friend Jackie used to say? And that's